Just give me a minute. I will share. Yes. Hope now I'm audible as well as I hope you are able to see the presentation as well. Just say yes in chat box so that we can start the session today. Okay. Today we are getting any quick response. Everybody is so active because of rain, it seems. I don't know in your places it is raining in Hyderabad since morning. Fine. Okay, in our previous classes, we have seen so many topics with respect to the chemical safety. We have seen the unit processes, unit operations. We have seen various chemicals handling, storage, and also emergency handling. So today we'll start with laboratory safety, and also we'll see the hazards with respect to the utilities and the what are the safety precautions to be followed. ఒకటి ల్యాబ్ సేఫ్టీ గురించి మాట్లాడదాము. దాంతో పాటుగా యూటిలిటీస్ అంటే ఏంటి, ఎలక్ట్రిసిటీ గురించి కానీ, లేదంటే స్టీమ్ గురించి కానీ, లేదంటే బాయిలర్స్ గురించి కానీ, వాటికి సంబంధించిన ప్రమాదాలు, దాంతో పాటుగా సేఫ్టీ ప్రికాషన్స్ ఏం తీసుకోవాలని మాట్లాడదాం. ఓకే, విత్ రెస్పెక్ట్ టు laboratory. So laboratory means what? So basically in laboratories we do so many reactions and we use multiple types of chemicals and we'll analyze the properties of the chemicals and we try to create the specific component, and then we'll go in a mass production once the reaction has been approved and also it has given the desired results. And once we have satisfied with the results, we have done proper analysis, then we can scale it up into the production level. So, but here the quantities are small. It is not like a typical bulk chemical manufacturing or bulk drug or any other API production units. It is about the small quantities, but they have n number of chemicals in a single place. So if you see, the laboratories is for testing of raw materials, intermediates, and finished products. So they'll to know the quality of the material. And it is also used for the research purposes. Glass vessels and also the other small vessels are used to handle small quantities of materials. So as I mentioned before, here they use the small quantities. అంటే చాలా తక్కువ మోతాదులో వివిధ రకాలైన రసాయనాలను యూజ్ చేసి వాళ్ళని వివిధ రసాయనాలని వాళ్ళు చెక్ చేస్తూ ఉంటారు. ఏదర్ రా మెటీరియల్ అవ్వచ్చు, ఇంటర్మీడియట్ ఏంటంటే వాళ్ళు ప్రాసెస్ చేసిన తర్వాత వచ్చే ప్రొడక్ట్స్, ఇంటర్మీడియట్ డ్రగ్స్ అంటారు. సో ఏంటంటే ఈ డ్రగ్ అనేది ఇంకొక ప్రాసెస్లో ఫినిష్డ్ గూడ్స్గా మారుతుంది. దెన్ ఫినిష్డ్ ప్రోడక్ట్. సో ఫినిష్డ్ ప్రోడక్ట్ని కూడా ఎందుకు టెస్ట్ చేస్తారు అంటే, సో అంటే మన కెమికల్ ఫార్ములా ప్రకారం ఆ యొక్క కెమికల్ అనేది తయారైంది టు చెక్ ద పారామీటర్స్ విచ్ వీఆర్ intended or we are committed to our customers, whether we have achieved it or sorry, we have achieved it or not. To understand that also, they will do the analysis in the laboratories. Basically, they do in glass vessels, and the hazard of the glass breakage should be understood and also handle such vessels carefully. A screen and also other guard should be provided. Rubber and also flexible tubes should be checked frequently and replaced periodically. So basically, the glass itself, it is a hazard in case if you are mishandled once it is fall down, and again inside there will be a chemical. So once the glass vessel which contains the chemical, if it is falls on a ground, so there are two types of hazards. One is the sharp objects are the glass pieces, the broken glass pieces. Other one is the chemical which is inside the glass vessel. So we should be very careful while handling those chemicals inside the glass vessels. Then there are during the reactions with the so many instruments or equipments they use, definitely they have this rubber tubes or the hoses attached to those equipments. They have to check periodically because maybe over a over a period of duration, these rubber materials become harder, I can say rigid, then so brittle in the sense and a గట్టిగా అయిపోయి over a point of time there will be a chances of formation of cracks. So due to the crack, there may be leakage of gases also. While doing any reaction, the gases may emit from the cracks. There may be a chance of release of those gases. And their connection should be checked on kept leak proof, and the laboratory vessels and reactors should be never be subjected to overpressure, temperature, and speed, etc. Excuse me. Necessary PPEs and also apron should be used. The safety showers and wash basin should be provided for washing hands. This is also another requirement. We should be checked the connections, and also we should not over pressurize the reactors subjected to the temperature. Then we should use a proper PPEs while handling with this chemicals, and also the safety showers and also wash basins should be used or provided for the washing hands. That is also the major or critical requirement inside the laboratories. Then fuming cupboards are provided for the venting out the fumes and gases, etc. So these fuming cupboards are, so it is also a storage kind of facility. A cupboard, we know the general cupboards we used to have in our houses. So these fuming cupboards are made along with the exhaust system. How in our kitchens we'll have the exhaust. The similar way, these all fuming cupboards are equipped with the exhaust system to handle the chemicals. In case of any leakage or spillage happens also, this fuming system will take out the fumes which is inside. And their doors, shutters should be kept closed up to the specific height, and also more open will be make the suction weak, and also the gas or vapor may also be common. So most of these fuming cupboards are different types. Some of them are a bit open, or most of them are closed condition, completely 100% closed condition, so that what will happen, they'll maintain a certain pressure inside. In case of any leakage happens, it won't come out from the cupboard as well. Then definitely the use of different kinds of gas cylinders for the reaction purposes. So they have to use the proper practices, and also They have to keep the cylinders upright and also tied with the chain for the preventing their fall, and also their valves and also regulators should be properly used. Then waste collection bins and trolleys should be used to clean and also collect the waste from the floor, and batch sheet should be used for the reading of the recording of the processes, and also the necessary instructions should be mentioned for the next shift and the workers if the process is to continue in the next shift. So the waste collection, this is also a major concern, especially in the chemical industries. We should not allow them to use, or then we should not allow them to practice throwing all kind of waste or collecting different kinds of waste in a single bin or in a one container, because we don't know which chemical will react with which chemical. Maybe a chemical maybe react with the Z, but we don't have that information with us. We thought, okay, a chemical will not be react with A to X or A to Y chemicals, but unfortunately a chemical is violently react with the Z, which is recently added in my process. So the hazardous waste must be collected. We should have different waste bins. People should be well trained on the collection and identification, then handling. And the batch sheets. So what are the batches? Batch in the sense the reaction process. They should maintain the batch record or the batch sheet reaction tracker to follow the following shift. And room exhaust and the process exhaust system should be provided and also run efficiently. Cupboard and shovels, racks are used to put a small bottles and equipment. The room exhaust and process exhaust systems should be provided and run efficiently. So apart from the fuming cupboards, there are other exhaust for the total the lab area. Room in the sense the lab, and also the process exhaust systems. Apart from that, fuming cupboards, wherever you are doing the reaction process, there also you should have an exhaust system to take out the fumes which is generated during the process of reaction. Necessary tool and support should be used while working with them, and also the laboratory should be kept clean and attractive without any smell, dust, or any dirtiness. So again, housekeeping comes in. Instead of saying housekeeping, we can say about 5 S practices should be in place to maintain the lab properly. Then safety and emergency equipment in the laboratory. So we use various kinds of chemical splash goggles. Yeah, that is also one of the chemical liquid cabinets. Thanks, Deepak. Then we use different kinds of face shields and also lab coats and lab apron and various kinds of gloves to protect ourselves from the hazardous chemicals. So safety and emergency equipment, what kind of emergency equipment should be there in the laboratory or near the vicinity of the laboratory, so that we can handle the emergency situations properly. Number one, hand-free and also eye wash stations, not eye wash bottles, and delicate safety showers in the sense emergency safety showers and safety shields with heavy base, then fire extinguishers, sand buckets, fire blankets, emergency lights and emergency signs and play cards, so that to escape from the immediate vicinity, and fire direction alarm systems with the pull stations, then first aid kits and a spill control kit, as Shiva mentioned, and chemical storage cabinets properly with the explosion-proof ventilation system, and gallon size carrying buckets for chemical bottles. So the gallon size in the sense based on the quantity or the volume of the bottles which are handling, it should be able to accompany in case of any damage happens to that bottles. Then laboratory chemical hoods, then ground fault interrupter or electrical outlets, containers for broken glass and sharps. In the sense for the glass waste, broken glass waste also we should have a dedicated collection uh, bin. Then material safety data sheet, which is utmost important. Then emergency action plan for the institution, in the sense for the building or for the lab. So in case of any emergency occurred inside the lab, what is the plan? What is the responsibility of the area owner? What is the responsibility of the a trained firefighter? And what is the responsibility of a trained first aider? And what is the responsibility of the area users? One is area owner, a trained people on first aid and firefighters, even emergency handling team, then the users of the specific area. So they should be well aware about their responses. In the sense, ఏదైనా ఒక laboratory ఉన్నప్పుడు ఆ laboratory ఓనర్ యొక్క రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ ఏంటి, అక్కడ ఉండి పనిచేసే వాళ్ళ యొక్క రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ ఏంటి, అక్కడ ఆల్రెడీ ట్రైనింగ్ తీసుకున్న ఎమర్జెన్సీ రెస్పాన్స్ టీమ్ అంటే అత్యవసర పరిస్థితుల్లో మనకి సపోర్ట్ చేసే టీమ్. Those are the various kinds of emergency equipment we should be kept ready to handle the emergencies in the laboratories. So apart from this, we'll have trainings on spill collection. We have induction trainings on all the chemists who are joining. We'll conduct mock drills with respect to the spills, and we'll conduct the fire drills, and we'll do the evacuations, and we'll have the do's and don'ts displays, and we will have the SOPs in place for the each reaction, and we'll have work instruction for the each activity, and we'll follow the permit system in case of any non-regular activity which is happening inside. So these are the other safety aspects. We'll look into it apart from this emergency equipment. Now, also, what are the general rules for the chemical storage? First, differently, any specific requirements regarding the storage of the chemicals from local or state and central government regulations and MSDs. So what we do is first we have to see for the state level. So based on the quantities, whether do we need any permits, or do we need to obtain, or we need to obtain any license from the local authorities or from the central government, or is there any other requirements which are defined in MSDS, which is supplied by the supplier. All these things has to be checked. Then criteria for a storage area. So what is the criteria? Store chemicals inside the closable cabinet on the sturdy shelf with a front edge lid to prevent the accidents and also the chemical spills, and 3/4 inch front edge lip is recommended. So in the sense for the closed cabinets, we should ensure this requirements for the better handling. Then secure shelving to the wall and also floor. So if you are using the shelves, we should ensure that those shelves are properly attached to the walls. Ensure that all the storage area have doors with the locks. So doors with locks. Basically, it is also one of the legal requirement if it is comes to the poisonous rules, it comes to the uh, poisonous rules. So why it is so legal requirement? Recently, I came up into the Karnataka poisonous rules. In that, they clearly told that if you are handling any chemical which is comes under those Poisonous Chemicals Act, so you should get a license, as well as those chemicals has to be put it in lock and key provision. So generally, if you see a Factors Act, nobody says that it should be in lock and key provision, but generally they will use it. I mean, the best practice is to keep any the chemicals which are more so hazardous, we'll keep it in lock and key facilities. But as per the poisonous chemicals, it is mandated that every chemical has to be inside the lock and key provision. అంటే ఏదైతే పాయిజన్ అంటే విషపూరితమైన అంటే విషపూరితమైన ఏమంటారు, ఐ డోంట్ నో వాట్ ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ ఇన్ తెలుగు. I don't know, sorry, I'm not able to recall. Poisonous in nature, so those chemicals has to be kept in lock and key provision. Keep the chemical stores areas of limits to the all the persons. Yes, area of limitation. So who is having control over the inventory of the chemicals? What is mean by inventory? The stock, storage of that area, the requirement of that area for the specific reactions. So we have to see what is the capacity, or who is having control. For example, everybody is having control, then there may be a chance of misusing of those chemicals. So they should have the people who handles it, and they should have specific accountability and responsibility. Then ventilate storage area adequately. So this is again a common requirement for the ventilation. Then if you see an organization, organize the chemicals first by compatibility, not alphabetic order. So as I told you many times, the compatibility with respect to the chemical, once immediately you have to remember compatibility, whether these two chemicals are friendly chemicals or these two chemicals are enemy chemicals. And store alphabetically with compatible groups. So the compatible groups, you can put it in alphabetical order, but not all the chemicals in alphabetical order. First, we have to segregate all those chemicals into compatibility or compatible groups. Then we have to segregate in alphabetical order. That is the safe way of organizing chemicals. Then chemical segregation, store acids in the dedicated acid cabinets, and nitric acid should be stored alone unless the cabinet provide a separate compartment for nitric acid storage, and store highly toxic chemicals in a dedicated and also lockable poison cabinet can be labeled with a slightly visible sign, and store volatile and also odoriferous chemicals in a ventilated cabinet, and store flammables in an approved flammable liquid storage cabinet, and store water sensitive chemicals in a overtight cabinet in a cool and also a dry location segregated from all other chemicals in the laboratory. These are some of the requirements with respect to the segregation. Okay. Now we'll see do's and don'ts. So do not place heavy materials or liquid chemicals and large containers on the high shelves. So it is as usual practice. We should not keep the heavy material. Okay. Heavy materials we should not keep on the higher shelves, which means in the top racks, and do not store chemicals for on top of the cabinets. So the people used to, because their cabinet capacity is a shortage because of shortage of the cabinets. They used to keep over the cabinets. It is not supposed to be. And do not store chemicals on floor or even temporarily. And do not store items on a bench tops and in the laboratory chemical goods and except when in use. So sometimes the people have the tendency to keep the bottles on the test bench and they forgot to take out, or they may thought that it is required for tomorrow. So they may used to keep on the bench itself. It is not supposed to be, because the chemical bench, in case of any spillage or accidental contact with the lab technicians, there may be a chance of damage or fall on the floor and result into an accident. So, and do not store the chemicals on shelves and above the eye level. So this is also one of the requirement. So until these chemical hoods are like pallets. Oh no, it is not like a pallet actually. Just give me a minute. I'll try to. So basically, what will happen if you see this is a cabinet. Basically, this cabinet itself, it will have a suction mechanism. So here you have a racks inside. Then you store the chemicals inside. Apart from that, you will have a workbench where you do the reactions. Here also you have a suctions. You do the reactions here, and this is a different one. Here you use the storage for the cabinets for the chemicals. In case of any spillage or leakage happens also, this suction help them to take out the fumes which is generated. Okay, these all are the bottles. Okay, one, two, three, four, five, six. All these are the bottles. So basically, this equipped with the a glass door, so you can able to see the glass bottles inside the cabinet. No, it is only a lab, not bulk storage. Sorry, it is only a lab. We are talking about laboratory safety only. Maybe we would have seen in our plus two or in 10th class, you would have seen your chemical laboratory seen in practicals. Maybe you would have done. It is almost the similar way, but there we use less hazardous chemicals. But with respect to we talk about the industry level, will have a bit highly toxic or hazardous or flammable or oxidizing chemicals or poisonous chemicals. Then do not store chemicals with food and drinks. Like people used to have some of the chemicals they used to keep in controlled temperatures. So if you see a controlled temperature, definitely they have a refrigerator. They used to keep inside, and they used to store the food itself. So we are not supposed to store food inside the or we should not store the chemicals with the food. Do not store chemicals in personal staff refrigerators, even temporarily, and do not expose stored chemicals to the direct heat or sunlight or highly variable temperatures. So this is also another requirement. We are not supposed to allow them to expose to the chemicals to temperatures, I mean direct sunlight or other temperatures which it can expose. And proper use of the chemical containers. Never use any food containers for the chemical storage. And make sure all containers are properly closed. And after each use, and carefully wipe down the outside of the container with a paper towel. And before returning it to the storage area, and properly dispose of the paper towels after use. So basically, what will happen in case of any acid leakage happens. So if you're not cleaned it properly, the neck or the mouth area of the bottle, in case of any spill in the following day or the next time, if you may handle that specific bottle with the bare hands, I mean without gloves, you may get contaminated with that the spilled chemical. So always it is good practice to clean the neck area of the chemical container before giving back to the storage location. Okay. Then make sure all the containers properly closed. Then after each use, careful